assault and batteries, but my trunk stay ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
I'm just going to be giving a little bit of an explanation on a question that I've been getting on social media for the last, I would say, 3 or 4 months. And that question is, hey, assault and battery, why did you choose AEW over Wrestlemania? You're supposed to be that guy who goes to Wrestlemania every year. You're supposed to be the WWE fan that we all know you to be, and you are known for your WrestleMania vlogs, which is all true. The thing that happened, and the explanation I gave everyone, it's like, honestly, I don't watch WWE anymore. The last thing I would watch is Mr. Big Dave over here. That little program with Triple H really brought me back to when I was a super fan. My years of being an amazing, over-the-top, getting every action figure, every DVD, every t-shirt imaginable. You guys have been there for that journey with me. There was a time where WWE could give me anything, whether it be a shitty match like Umaga versus Bobby Lashley, which I have a story for in a bit, or Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar, which is another WrestleMania 32, which is another thing that is a very significant match, just like the Bobby Lashley and Umaga match. They could have given me that, and somehow I would always find a way to defend it, even though it was terrible. Umaga versus Bobby Lashley holds a very special place in a bad way, because it was the first match that really put me to sleep, literally, while watching. I used to watch wrestling every Monday, like Raw every Monday. I would never miss SmackDown since 1999. I would never miss Raw. And I tell the story all the time where, I would have to be asleep by 10:30 or whatever. I would always miss the main event, and I would come home. This is 1998, 1999. And all the way into the early 2000s, where I would just be a total WWE fan. It didn't matter what other company. There was no other company really around that time. When TNA came around, I would sit here in 2007. I remember in my media arts class, doing my old Photoshop stuff, my very minimal skills on Photoshop. And instead of doing that, I would be watching YouTube videos, and I would be watching these guys. Their name is RVD Tito for life, and this is, like I said, in 2007. And they were on this big TNA kick where it's like, Vince McMahon's out of touch. And they were saying this in 2007, mind you. We're in 2019 right now. Vince McMahon's out of touch. His company's going to go out of business. He doesn't know what the fans want. Everything a WWE super fan does not want to hear. And I was that guy, me, naive 17-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, like, these guys are going to expose WWE and everything's going to go to shits. And, how dare they talk bad about the great WWE, the great Vince McMahon. TNA is the minor leagues, and the more I watched, the more it almost made me nervous. It was like, maybe these guys are right. Maybe WWE is going to go out of business, and if they do, what am I going to do? Everything I know is wrestling in WWE, and if that's gone, I don't want to watch TNA. What's TNA? They're not the big company. And for so long, I would just bash them and stuff, and then it's like, maybe I should give TNA a chance. And that's all they said in that video. It's like, all you have to do is watch TNA to understand what we're saying. And a lot of people who were bashing them didn't really watch the product. They were just so fixated on WWE and how great they are, including myself, until that one day where it's like Umaga versus Bobby Lashley happened. I fell asleep. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to fall asleep during WWE. This is like my stuff. This is what I live for. This is what I die for. It's WWE. And then I watched TNA, and then I realized, like, oh my God, like, there is a lot better stuff out there that isn't as, famous, isn't as world known. And I feel like that's when I became a fan of wrestling instead of a fan of WWE. As the years went on, it was more like I'm a TNA fan, instead of liking, who's a tag team? Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. I was like LAX and Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles and the Canadian, who were the Team Canada. These were amazing tag teams that I had never seen before. They were putting on great matches, and WWE was on the other side, and it's like not as good, and it was very stale, and it was very slow, and I was like, oh my God, like, maybe these guys are right the whole time. And then I started making YouTube videos, and I started realizing there's more than just America. Now you have like all these other countries that do it, and then there's even smaller companies like ROH, and then you guys know I went through that whole ROH phase, and it's been a crazy road as a wrestling fan. Wrestlemania trips came, and it just reignites your love for wrestling and WWE. But then it came the point where it's like you go to these trips not for WrestleMania but to hang out with your friends, and then you're kind of overcritical on the shows, and then that one match happens that just turns you off from everything. And that one match, like I was talking about earlier, was Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. I feel like that match was single-handedly the reason I just stopped watching WWE, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I remember everyone's like, oh, what match are you looking forward to the most? And it was Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. The build-up was whatever, but just to see those two guys just go in there and kill each other, what I was expecting was the total opposite from what I got. And I'm like, I spent this many $1,000s every week or every year to go to these shows, and seems like over the last little while you've been disappointed. And I remember there came a point where I wasn't even watching the build-up. WrestleMania 33 I didn't go to. Now it's like I don't even know. Whatever I see on Instagram is all I know what's going on, and I listen to the podcasts. But then what happens? I go to All In. I go to AEW Double or Nothing, and it was like that passion, that flame was reignited inside, under my ass, and I'm like, man, like TNA's okay. I don't even really watch, but I can't really judge. But ROH for sure is not as good as it used to be. WWE is below ROH at this point, and I don't even want to talk about how bad it is, because you guys know at this point, the booking, the guys, everything about it is just like, I know it looks bad, because hey, look, behind me, there's 3 WWE belts and a bunch of figures on my wall, but if I could take them down, which I can, but they're all autographed, it looks cool, but if there was a choice, and I try to tell people this all the time, that I am not a fan of WWE. I'm a fan of wrestling, and WWE is not qualified as wrestling anymore. And once I went to All In, I'm like, man, this is amazing. And then AEW happened. It was like, this is all I've been waiting for. This is the company that I've been clamoring for. That lapsed WWE fan in me is kind of making a turn. Going to the weekend, the whole week was great. The show itself was amazing. And it made me realize that there is a company out there that actually cares about wrestling, fresh faces, fresh promos, and cares about their fans and doesn't insult their intelligence. 5 things that WWE does not do. It was so good that I've already made plans to go to Chicago for All Out, and I know SummerSlam is at the beginning of August. This is at the end. I'm already looking to sell my Raw ticket, because I'm like, I bought tickets for NXT, SummerSlam, and Raw. SmackDown I'm not going to go to. And now it's like, do I even want to go to Raw? So if I can sell my Raw ticket, like I'll not go to Raw. So our SummerSlam and NXT would the only thing I would do. That's pretty much the main reason. It's I feel like WWE has passed me by, and I see the stuff they put on, and it's honestly embarrassing to be a fan. When people ask me if I'm a wrestling fan, and then they just ask me what's going on, I'm like, I honestly can't tell you. And if I do tell them, then you have to kind of explain yourself, like, yeah, I know I'm almost 30 years old, and then I still watch this stuff. But AEW gives a new light to all this stuff, and I hope before bashing it, you guys actually give it a chance. I know it's not the perfect thing. I know there's a lot of problems with whatever. I heard a lot of criticism, but honestly, being there for All In and Double or Nothing, definitely on my top 5 favorite shows attending live, of course with a few WrestleManias. For a show to just grab me the way it did, and just hook me and really make me a fan again, I think the credit to them. So that's why I feel like I should support them any way I can. And whether it be to go to the show again, I'll go to the show again. I'll miss WrestleMania next year for that. I feel like I have made the right decision not to support WWE until, of course, they show that they're not as bad as they come across. But that's all. I'll see you guys in the next video.